In this session, I'm talking with Cindy Fossouo, CEO and founder of Information Systems Builder. Let's listen in. Hi, Kurt Doty here with Realm IQ for another Realm IQ session. Today we're talking with Cindy from Information Systems Builder, and she's going to talk to us about how she interacts with AI. So Cindy, welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. My name is Cindy Fossouo, and I'm the CEO of Information Systems Builder. And we just help tech startups with their branding and marketing, right? Tech startups have a really hard time just branding themselves, marketing themselves, and really getting their name out there because they have to compete with big tech companies and companies getting created every day. So the marketing aspect is very important to make sure that people get their message and people get to know why are you different from this company. So I think it's a good way for them to differentiate themselves, and we help them with that.
Cool. And so how are you using AI to go through that process?
So at first we were just like a marketing agency, right? And then we were very early AI, not the hype AI. And we just said, okay, it would be a great, idea if we just, built a software where, marketing and branding and where, just startups would just go and then they have a question for marketing, right? Because they're tech geniuses. They know how to build, they know how to come with the idea. So I came up with a great idea that what if they just, got their computer, got their phones, and just downloaded an app and just started asking questions, right? And just started saying, okay, how can I market myself? Who is my target audience? All these questions, all these marketing questions that people have. And that's what we do.
Okay, so you've turned the marketing questions into prompts basically to guide them through the process of defining their brand.
Yes.
That's cool. So, in what types of industries are these companies in? I know tech, but it can vary quite a bit in terms of what people's.
Yeah, like SaaS, just all types of, we're just tech, like tech. We just focus on tech companies. So, there's SaaS, biotech, health tech, I mean, all types of tech companies.
Cool. So obviously, Chat GPT, you talked about being in AI before Chat GPT launched last November. What aspects were you dealing with in AI prior to Chat GPT?
It wasn't actually prior to ChatGPT. When I meant by it wasn't prior to
Oh,
ChatGPT.
okay.
It was ChatGPT just basically gives you it says, oh, how can I market myself? If you ask them how can I market themselves, and they would give you like a whole thing. But our app just goes in depth on how specifically you should market your company, right? They ask you questions like so we can just learn more about your company. And they give you exact prompts on how to market your company. And then they come to us and they say, hey, this is what your software said. And then we implement that for them.
Okay. And how has the reaction been and the results, and our brands trusting AI driven branding and marketing at this point?
Yeah, I mean, for now, it's, you know, um, we've just focused on our clients. We haven't been really, with AI, you have to train it, right? You have to train it, you have to make sure it's perfect. So for a long time, we're just focused on our clients, and the feedback that we've had was just amazing. So to answer your question, we've gotten good feedback, bad feedback, some of them here and there, but that's good because it makes your product even better. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, my background is branding and marketing as well, and so I've dealt with startups for the last 10 years. Just curious as to how you're dealing with the visual aspect of the corporate identity, if you've accessed AI to do any of that creative, or are you more still traditional on that stuff?
Yeah, we're still traditional on that stuff. We're getting there. Maybe we should have you on our team. But no, we're just getting there. But that's one thing that, they need help with, and that would be huge. Just working on that visual aspect. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've not really found a platform that can really do classic corporate identity yet, that's really defined and differentiated. So I think it'll be a while, but in the interim, certainly branding is more than a logo. It's the positioning, right? It's the vision, mission, position, and then defining your personas, your target markets, and all of that you can easily do on Chat GPT or Bard or whatever platform you want. And when it comes to marketing, so there's a number of tools, even besides your app, I guess. Are you doing what I call platform hopping in between other tools that are pioneering, certainly in uh, ad creation, social promotion, social marketing, or are you trying to stick within your platform?
Stick to my platform, but I definitely do, as a marketing person yourself, you know that, you need to go to your competition or people doing the same thing a little bit a little bit the same thing that you're doing, and just making sure, I always tell my clients, you want to make sure that you look at your competition. What are they not doing? What are their clients complaining about that you should do better? So I don't really see that as competition, other companies as competition. I'm just like, how can I make it better? What are their clients, just complaining about it? So I make sure that, we're not like that. So in that aspect, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, so you bring up customer research or customer relations management to get feedback on how a brand is doing or how a startup is doing. What are your trusted sources? Because there's been criticism that hallucinations with Chat GPT and such, or LLMs in general, aren't necessarily accurate. And so how are you combating that with your own platform and or just your normal research
Yeah,
process?
for right now, we're like private. It's literally just our clients that we're using it, and we're just testing our hypotheses. So it's not, our app is not something that's like for the world. And that's one of the points that we're dealing with to make sure, because ChatGPT, for example, it's not always accurate, or it hasn't been updated since like 2 years or so. So just making sure that everything, all of those points, that we're on top of it.
Okay, great. And then where do you see the future going? Is this is accelerated so quickly? What do you see on the horizon and how you can help your clients even better as the technology gets better, as the LLMs learn more and get up to date?
Yeah, I think AI, it is going to be big. We don't know how big, right? And I think I heard you say something like AI. You don't think AI's branding is as clear? I don't want to misquote you. Did you say that?
Yeah, no, AI has a branding problem. That's what I said.
Exactly. And I do agree with you. I think that when people really understand the branding of AI, when they're more clear, I think they'll understand where AI is coming from and how, big this thing is. I don't know how big it's going to be, because I personally think that if we let it be so big, we won't need a lot of, people to work at places, because they're going to be um replaced by AI, right? We don't want our
Displaced, yeah. Um, I'm glad you agree with the branding problem because the fear factor is such that if you keep using robots as your imagery, you're reinforcing the fact that you might be replaced by a robot, and there's no human element in that imagery, even though you have people turning into robots, interacting with robots. I just think all of that is wrong, and it's software at this point. Certainly, robotics have been in industry for a long time, going back to Henry Ford.
Mhm.
But in terms of what we can achieve as human beings with this, what I call augmented intelligence, not artificial, is powerful. And I'm hoping that you can commit to not using robots in your imagery as you promote your software, because I think you just got to find a different metaphor of how to help people and brands, because robots is not it.
Yeah, and a lot of people are, you know, just changing their company. They had a concept, but they're just like changing it. They're like, AI is a new thing. We need to, transform our company to AI. And, I don't know how, but I think if it's going to replace jobs, I don't think the world is going to let AI be big as it could be. I think I was talking to a founder, and like they're trying to build, a software where you don't need physical engineers in your company, right? So I think if that gets out of hand, I don't think the mass population are going to let AI economically. I don't even think that would be great. But I think I definitely agree with you. AI has a branding problem. I think, I think people think they know what AI does, but they don't really. They don't really know.
Yeah, there's a land rush to somehow integrate AI into your product offering. AI powered was a moniker that you put before describing your company. We're an AI powered way to buy men's underwear. I don't know. It's like the .com bust of AI, and people didn't truly understand it. Plus, AI is also reaching ubiquity, meaning every interface, every software platform that we're on in our daily routines and tasks, mainly because of Meta, Microsoft, and Google. There's already a prompt there. It's like, hey, can I help you write that message, that campaign, that social post, that email? And so that's the power of AI. They're powered by AI, and so there's this race to ubiquity where a founder, who thinks that they're going to position themselves as an AI company, that message will diminish because of the ubiquity, the ultimate and upcoming ubiquity of AI in everyone's life and
Mhm.
daily tasks. So I think founders need to be very specific about what they mean by AI powered. And I come from just like you, the creative side. I think saying you're a AI powered, empowered graphic designer, let's say, uh, it's an interesting ploy right now, but over time it will have a diminishing value, because my fear is that the clients will say, oh great, you're using all that AI stuff, so you can do it in half the time, right? So maybe you should charge me half as much. And that's the danger in kind of positioning yourself as an AI powered company, because of this now belief that, oh well, you're saving time, that saves money, so don't charge me as much. However, everyone who's coming with their years of experience, whether it's in branding or marketing or real estate or data analysts. They bring that years of experience, and why should that be diminished just because there's a new tool to use
Right.
to help them be more efficient? If anything, those tools should help you do more for your client, thus,
Right.
and not do it for cheaper, but be able to do more. And
Right.
so people's productivity levels are increasing, but it shouldn't be at the expense of a decreased salary or a decreased budget, because you've empowered yourself with these powerful generative AI tools. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think that's what people fear, right? They're like, well, at my job now, I'm going to need to, I'm not going to make a lot more of money than, I deserve, because they're just going to assume, well, you're going to use this AI tool and that's already doing half of your job. And all you have to do is just implement it, right? And that it doesn't go like that. So, I think that's the dangers of where I'm a little skeptical about AI, and if they'll let this thing just grow. Because right now everybody's scared, in terms of, it's AI replacing me. I'm seeing articles, it's AI replacing people. So, it's a very it's a very tricky thing. Even our education system, I think right now they're struggling. Like, okay, so this AI thing, are kids, not going to do their homework? I don't want to misquote an article, but I think I read an article that said professors know that everybody, all of their students are just, their high school students are using Chat GPT. So they're making, homework harder, because they know that you're gonna use Chat GPT, and they're letting you. They're like, okay, yeah, go to Chat GPT, do your research, but then the hard homework is a little harder. And I think it's not fair, because I think not all of the kids are going to use ChatGPT, right? Or maybe they're not. I'm sure there's people that don't like ChatGPT because they don't think it's correct. They don't think it's so. It's going to be one of those things that, it's interesting to see how this thing is going to grow, if it's going to grow, or is it just a thing where it's really hot right now for 2 years and then it'll just die down.
Yeah, no, I don't think it will take the path of Web3, which had a lot of hype, NFTs, crypto, and a lot of failures.
Mhm.
But I think because this is literally software that people can use, I can't use an NFT, and I never paid $1 million to buy one, so what the hell? Uh,
Mhm.
but I'm able to use this software, and it makes me a better writer, better artist, better designer, so better communicator. So that's if that's happening to me, it's happening to a lot of people. So I don't think it's going to go away. People will now use it, not necessarily as a crutch, but they will have integrated into their natural workflow. And that's the best way to get adoption up, is like pick something that's a menial task and see if generative AI can accomplish that task for you. And if so, just put it into your workflow so you're using it every day. It's not enough to just experiment. Hey, I'm going to experiment with HeyGen today, avatars, and think that that's really gonna change your life. What you have to do is like find a purpose for using a specific platform and integrate it into your task list of the day, so you're reducing your task list, thus saving time and getting better at what you do.
Mhm.
In terms of education, I think there is a movement of professors to actually go ahead and use it. It's a tool, it's not going away. And we'll figure out how to test your knowledge base in a different way. I suggest, a Socratic method, where it's like, great, you did all this research really quick overnight. You wrote a whole paper, fantastic, overnight. But
Mm.
were you paying attention? Because now I want you to get up in class and give me a speech. on everything that
Right.
you learned, and be able to articulate what you've learned and researched with these tools. That's fine. But at the end of the day, unless you internalize it and become an expert at what you're researching, then you're just cheating and you're tapping into rote memorization, and just re-spitting out what you got from these platforms. So again, college, high school, how are we teaching our kids to critically think and be able to articulate? Ultimately, I think that might be a measure of performance versus write a paper, because
Right.
that's all suspect now.
Mhm.
But as a research tool and pairing yourself to be smarter about a certain subject matter, it's like, yeah, give us the speech. The floor is yours, right?
Yes, yes.
Um, and I will also add, robots aren't going to replace us. It's going to be the people who have been upskilled or trained on AI that will replace you.
Mm,
Intuit just 2 weeks ago let go of 200 employees and replace them with AI trained employees, human beings, not robots. So that's happening.
so do
And
you think everybody's going to be trained now to
well, I think
become?
they need to be. I think that that's the greatest opportunity. You see a rush towards, certainly on LinkedIn. That's where we met. Is uh, there's AI universities and AI courses, and some are free, which is great. A lot of people, doing demos, recording it, and sharing that knowledge, which is great. And then others are offering certificates, whether it's $3,000 or $10,000. I don't know about a degree yet. I haven't really seen that yet. Um, but it gets expensive. But the intent that there's an educational upskilling opportunity, whether
Mhm.
you're in college, whether you're in the workforce currently and worried about losing your job, there are paths to get upskilled and trained. And um, I think that's an important thing. Otherwise, you're going to be shit out of luck and possibly out of a job. So
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree with you. And there's definitely going to be a thing where even colleges are going to, have AI. They're going to put AI and interesting because there's founders, and I'm in San Francisco. I don't know where you are.
I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay, so I'm in San Francisco and all of the founders are here. So, and a lot of them are like, we're going to make an AI app for colleges, and they're going to try to make it, legal that, people students can just go there and, use it as a homework thing. So it's very interesting to see how this will blossom and how colleges will accept AI, you know.
Well, they need to. Otherwise, these kids aren't going to go to school.
Yeah.
I mean, the education system is already in a crisis. So it was already for years. Cost too much to go to college. What are you getting, and what type of job are you able to get after you get out of college? So the idea that technology can now empower kids out of in high school, to train themselves and be smart and be productive and be hired by companies who are looking for AI trained people, not necessarily those with a college degree, then it's going to disrupt our education system. So um, that's a larger topic that we'll have to talk about another
For
day.
sure, for sure.
Um, but do you, in terms of advocacy, which I think is important, education, advocacy, being not only an enthusiast or build platforms like yourself as tools, but also being an advocate. What are you doing out there in order to increase awareness of the opportunities generally, or in marketing your own platform? What's effective for you?
Yeah, I go to a lot of AI conferences. I speak to some, I attend some. I host myself. Our company hosts, our AI events. So definitely just to meet, it's good to meet different people, what they're building. It's good to know, what people think about AI. Some agree, some don't. Some think it's a disaster, and some think it's going to change the world. So it's great to, learn from many people and their aspects.
Yeah. Yeah, I have found that it is a nascent community, and I've found people in it to be very helpful, and so much so that I think it's a lot easier to network in, because other people see the potential and they want to understand and learn, and there's just this great desire for people to network and learn. And I think that lends itself towards everyone learning and upskilling in a lot quicker fashion. And so I'm enjoying that. And you're right. And you're lucky to be in San Francisco because there's so many conferences there
Mhm.
um, that I wish I could go to, but someday. Otherwise, I'm on LinkedIn and participating virtually with all
Yeah.
kinds of
And
events.
you're an AI advocate. You're like for AI. So
Yeah, no, because I'm combating the naysayers, uh, which I think is a vocal minority. They do have valid concerns. I think governance and guidelines is a hot topic, and governments are trying. There's certain alliances between governments and countries that are starting to form. So, you know, I'm not a ambassador by any means, but I think those efforts should be applauded and supported. And I think that, you know, you being in the Bay Area, you know all about big tech. Big tech um, has controlled Web 2.0. Web 3.0 was trying to take away power from big tech and give it to all tech and individuals. Uh, that didn't necessarily succeed. And so here we are back again with AI, which might be called Web 4 or replace the meaning of what Web 3 is. Big tech is still fully in charge. They've invested the billions of dollars. They're monetizing it. Their valuations are going up like crazy. So I don't know that we can rely on big tech to do the right thing because they are beholden to their shareholders who want to make money. And where's the altruism? Meaning, how can you innovate for good and think about the ethics around AI? And if truly, these LLMs are learning, uh, becoming sentient is a possibility, and an eventual outcome. What are we doing to train them? And I think the people using it have to train them, and I think the people, enthusiasts, like yourself and we need to be the advocates to make sure that big tech doesn't blow it on this, because if they blow it, it's a it's a major bummer, um, and can feed into that doomsday scenario. But I think having conversations like this, talking about issues, amplifying these discussions is a good thing. Um, People giving demos is great as well. But I think there needs to be a lot more dialogue. So I appreciate you coming on our little session here and talking about how you're using it and talking about these issues. I think it's a very important part for adoption. Our slogan is adopt or perish. It's a little dramatic, but it's true. What are we doing to increase adoption? Because the naysayers out there are not necessarily increasing adoption, they're creating fear. How do we combat fear? And I think communication is a big part of that. And certainly with the brands and startups that you're working with, I think communicating those positive aspects of AI, if those brands are powered by AI, what is that communication
Mhm.
that doesn't one support robot imagery, but how do you make it human-centered AI? I think it's a big thing that we need to discuss a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you.
Do you have any events you want to plug before we close here?
Hmm.
Maybe speaking at or
Yes, I will be speaking at Impact.
okay.
And I have a couple more AI conferences that I'll be speaking at, but it's not official yet. But they can go on my LinkedIn and and Twitter, and then it will coming soon.
Okay, great. Listen, thank you so much, Cindy, for joining us today. And everybody else, keep coming back for more Realm IQ sessions. And that concludes today. Thank you very much.